Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another interesting session. We are going to be analyzing a very, very interesting video. If you are a Cameroonian in the diaspora, be it in Europe, in Asia, in America, this video is going to be of great value to you. So I encourage you to pay attention, share this video to your friends and relatives so they can watch. The objective of this platform is to help us achieve peace, unity, prosperity, and development in Cameroon without bloodshed. This platform is designed for Cameroonians below the age of 40 who believe that we can achieve these objectives without anyone dying. If you are above the age of 40 and you believe in this vision, we welcome you. If you are above the age of 40 and you disagree with this initiative, then this video is not for you. I want to dive into a very interesting topic today, and a topic that is one of the strongholds as to why this war persists, right? It has been 7 years, and we have been hoping that someday they'll will press a magic button and all these problems in our nation will go away. But it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, which indicates that we are the people that we have been waiting for. I want us to talk about immigration, because today we were just doing a deep research into our immigration profile in the diaspora. It is alarming. I mean, like, you're going to hear a lot of stuff today. It is alarming to see the struggles that our people are going through. Some of us travel abroad. We share stories about our struggles back home so that we can get sympathy and be granted an immigration status, right? Or we can be granted asylum. So we get into this refugee status. Today, we are going to look at what this is doing to us as a people. If you look at the Bible, there is a very renowned story about how the Israelites went into Egypt. They went into Egypt because they were hungry. They wanted food. So they got into Egypt and they got a status in Egypt because of Joseph. Mind you, Joseph is the guy who brought the initiative that the Egyptians should store food because a rainy day is coming ahead based on the dream that the king had. This is a gentleman that would have brought that idea in his home country, and the entire world would have been coming to their nation, Israel, to beg for food. But because their brothers sold him, Joseph's brothers sold him as a slave, so he was in a foreign nation. And this initiative that he brought about benefited the Egyptians. And so his people came there for food and ended up becoming slaves for 400 years. Cameroonians, both home and abroad, I want to say, you can tell all the stories that we tell ourselves because it's all about the bag, right? It's all about the money for some people. We tell the stories, we get access to these opportunities, and then we feel like, oh, life is good. We are going to pay dearly for it. And our children's children will pay dearly for it. They ended up becoming slaves for 400 years. See, God said, okay, it's time to take you guys out of this. Now you've learned your lesson. If we don't make some decisions right now, some very tough decisions right now, we will live to regret what we are doing right now. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? Yeah. If we don't make some very hard, tough decisions right now, we will live to regret this for a very long time to come. Now, most of our brothers are seeking asylum in the diaspora. I would like for us to dive into this video. We will analyze it and go gradually. There is a number right there on the screen. I would like for you guys to call and give your input as to what you think, because your opinion does matter. The questions that you're struggling with does matter, and I would like to answer your questions. You see what I'm saying? So that together we can build a nation that we can be proud of. This ego thing has to go away, because I feel like what we are struggling with is empty pride. I know of brothers who live in Germany. Some of them live in Asia. They went into a foreign nation, and within 3 months to a year, they have been able to learn that foreign language. They've been able to learn German. They've been able to learn some Asian languages because they want to integrate in that society and get a job and provide for themselves. Because the bottom line of what we are dealing with in Cameroon is poverty, right? Every other story about marginalization, annexation, colonization, this can be summed up in one word: poverty. And we have to be able to be realistic with this and say, how do we target poverty and eradicate poverty from our land? And if that is our goal, then all this ego, we keep it on the side, and then we face the real enemy, which is poverty. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? We will go out there and learn these languages, but we cannot learn French and integrate and build a nation that we can be proud to call ours. We will choose to go join other nations, learn their languages, get jobs there. You get into a taxi, or people meet you in a shopping mall, and they keep asking you all the time, where are you from? Where are you from? Why did you leave your country and come here? You have to stay there and explain yourself again and again. And you look all timid and sad, and you walk around, you cannot even feel confident, because the reality is most of us English-speaking Cameroonians travel out of the nation than most other Cameroonians, right? Our heart and our soul is in Cameroon. What we have in the diaspora is just our body. And that is why you cannot stop but come on live and talk about the problems in Cameroon the way you do, because your heart is in Cameroon. If you make some money right now, the very first thing that comes to your mind is, how can I build a house in Cameroon? How can I help the people in Cameroon? How can I establish for myself a business in Cameroon? This is facts. You cannot be emotional with facts, because what I've seen with us is, which is why, me, myself included, we have this love for our nation. We have this love for where we came from. There's a reason why God gave birth to you in a particular geographical location, because He wanted you to be a solution to a problem in that geographical location. Life is not just all about money. It's not all about making money. Because that is why when I stand up to say the things I'm saying here, some people say, oh, they're paying him, because the whole idea is we are here to make money. That's all. If somebody asks you, why are you here in America? No one can say, I came here to study. I came here to understand how the philosophy and the beliefs of these people are actually producing the results that it's producing, and how are they shaping the world, changing the world. Most of us don't talk in this kind of language. I've sat down with white folks and folks from other great nations, and their whole idea is moving the world forward, making the world a better place, making an impact through their gifts and their talents. God did not create us and place us in this world just to survive, get money, pay bills, and prove to people that you too have made it. Life is way more than that. There is more to your life than just paying bills or making money to prove to people that you've made it to, or to come out of abject poverty. There is more to life than just money. You are in this world to make an impact, to shape the course of this entire universe. And when you start thinking like this, the money will come. You don't even have to worry about it. Anytime your mind is focused on the money, it is even hard to even get the money. But when your mind is focused on making a difference, money comes. You understand what I'm saying? Let's take a look at this video, guys. Are you ready? Are you guys ready? Because I mean, this is the thing. We got to be real, right? You guys are saying you want change. If you don't want real change, then you are not ready for me. If you don't want real change in your life and in Cameroon, then you are not ready for me. But if you want real change, then let's go. Let's do it. Okay, let's watch.
It is horrible, it is terrible, Bako. My heart bleeds knowing that the American government know the shamble crisis we are facing in Cameroon and sending my brothers and sisters back home.
Cameroonians have come to the United States to escape ongoing humanitarian crisis, conflict, and human rights abuses in the country. Yet the U.S. has been deporting them back. Human Rights Watch spoke to a number of Cameroonians deported on 2 flights in October and November 2020. Nearly all were asylum seekers. Many were unfairly denied asylum in the U.S. despite credible claims of past persecution. After their return, many of those who were deported suffered serious human rights violations by Cameroonian authorities. Armed separatists also beat at least one deported person and threatened the relatives of others. Our investigation found that the deportations returned Cameroonians to persecution, torture, and other serious harm. This violates international human rights and refugee law.
Security forces stopped me at the checkpoint to ask for ID. I present the document I had received at the airport, and they realized I had been deported from the US. So they started insulting me and saying, I am one of the ones that are going out of the country and destroying the name of the country. They started.
Stop. So one thing he just mentioned there, that he was told that you are one of the people going out and destroying the name of the country. And these are a group of people that were deported back from the United States in 2020. They were denied asylum. Some people have said they've established an embassy in Washington, D.C. for Ambazonia. And some of our brothers think that if you get an ID card as an Ambazonian, then that ID card can show that you're probably a member of this group that is not wanted in Cameroon. And I just want to let you guys know, because where we are going with this, if we put our heads together and lay this foundation in the next 5 years, the Cameroon Sustainable Development Project in the next 5 years, most of you will want to leave the diaspora and go back home and build a life for yourself. If you guys listen to what I'm saying. Some people thought maybe, oh, God raising someone like me to say the things that I'm saying here indicates that I will come around and please you based on what you already know. And I just want to say, if the language that you've been speaking in, if God wants to raise a leader and that leader speaks in that language that you have been communicating in, then that leader is not the real leader to save you from your problems. Because if you know your problems, you should be able to find a solution. But if you do not understand your problem, that is why you can't get a solution to that problem. And God has to raise a leader that understands the problem from a different perspective, articulates that problem so clearly, and provide a solution that is different from the one that you thought. And that is exactly what God has sent me here to do for us. And I want to let you know, it will be a child, a son, a daughter from Cameroon that will save Cameroon. No foreign nation will ever save Cameroon or sign a piece of paper that will free you. It is us that will free us from us. You understand what I'm saying? So he's giving the nation a bad reputation. We will get to that very soon. But I just want to let you guys know, you travel abroad in America, for example, it takes you approximately 5 years to get a green card after you have been granted asylum. It takes you another 5 years to get US citizenship. That is 10 years of your life that is gone. And you're living in this shadow. Some of you left Cameroon, you were engineers. Some of you left Cameroon, you were doctors. Some of you left Cameroon, you were lawyers. Some of you left Cameroon, you were musicians. You were this smart individual. In these foreign nations that you find yourself in, your confidence has been muffled. You look timid and fearful. That is what has happened to you. Your self-confidence is gone. While you're waiting for 10 years to get these papers, it is the trap that you get caught up in. And you never become who God created you to be. We have to be able to fix our nation, solve our problems, reconcile our differences, and build a compelling future for ourselves in our nation. We will prefer to go out there and take crap from anybody else than respect the leaders in our nation and do what we ought to be doing in our nation and build for ourselves a compelling future in our nation. Let's keep listening.
Insulting me, beating me, kicking me with their shoes seriously, and they locked me up in jail for several days until I escaped.
What happened to Marie was not an isolated incident. Cameroonian government forces abused or detained at least 39 other deported people after their return, including Walter, not his real name.
I was held in Communicado for over 5 months, and at the end of it all, it was just a motive to extort money from my family because we had to pay a ransom of 2 million francs, which is about $4,000.
We also found out that security forces in Cameroon were victimizing family members of deported people. This 60-year-old woman from southwest Cameroon was severely beaten by military personnel who came to her house looking for her son. Since late 2016, the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon have been embroiled in cycles of violence between government forces and armed separatist groups seeking independence from the country. This has internally displaced hundreds of thousands and pushed tens of thousands to flee the country. The United States failed to protect Cameroonian asylum seekers even while they were on U.S. soil. Dozens were held in prolonged U.S. immigration detention for 1 to 3 years. Deported Cameroonians also reported experiencing excessive use of force, medical neglect, and other abuses while in the custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE.
Okay. Another thing I want to say right here is you've probably heard from other media outlets, and they are propagating the idea that Cameroon is falling, Yaoundé is falling, Douala is falling, the nation is going bankrupt. And I just thought I'd clear that out because it is good for them to feel and think and talk that way. I want to ask all of you guys watching this, from the time you were born to this age, which nation have you ever seen go bankrupt and completely collapsed? whether because of internal conflicts or because the economy is struggling, which nation have you seen completely go bankrupt? And somehow this find fun sitting on their TV stations, sharing this kind of stories, and they feel like it's something that is going to happen. Do you know about CEMAC? CEMAC constitutes of approximately 6 African countries, 5 or 6 African countries, that Cameroon is one of the leading nations in this group. And not only that, Cameroon has bilateral relationships with almost every other nation on earth. If these guys understand how money works, if they understand how the economy works, if they understand how nations work, that's why they'll go to Europe and the United States and they tell them this separation idea is not something we welcome. And they leave and think, oh, with our shared determination, we are going to win. And do you understand how the nations work? Do you think that Cameroon can just go bankrupt and just run out of money like that? Never. From the time you were born to this age, which nation have you seen with your eyes completely go bankrupt and the nation shuts down? Which nation? Where did you guys get all these theories from? All these kind of conspiracy theories that you share to keep people in this loop of confusion. Which nation have you seen struggle to the point that they go bankrupt? And if there's a nation that will ever go bankrupt, it's not Cameroon. Please. You guys got to look at the GDP of your nation compared to other African countries. There are many other African countries that will go bankrupt if a nation has to go bankrupt, and not Cameroon. Yes, Cameroon might not have all the money that it takes to do everything to please us like we want, but going bankrupt is not one of them. So away with this illusion. The president shared a lot in his speech, and some people think, oh, this is something we've been hearing, and it's again, it's redundant and all of that. That is why some of us need to learn how to understand French, because when you understand French, you were able to understand the president, because people take maybe a sub-version of what they heard or a translated version, because some of them don't really understand real French. And somehow in the translation process, you don't get exactly what the president said. You got to be able to understand French to understand exactly what the president said, projects that are ongoing and projects that are deemed to be completed and projects that will be initiated. You got to distinguish them and divide them. And listening to our president in the beginning of the year, you can feel, even if, because when you have this clouded mind, it's hard for you to even understand what he's saying, but you can feel that he has love for the nation and there is more to do. And it's because most of us have lived in the West, but yet we still think that is the responsibility of the president to do everything, and we don't have to collaborate, and it's just him and his government that will bring about this change. All of us. When we travel abroad and we're seeking all these asylums, having this, our nation has this kind of reputation, at the end of the day, it is going to destroy us. If you do not turn out to be slaves in the nation that you find yourself, you prevent every opportunity for any investor ever thinking to come invest in your nation. And don't think that even if you separate and have an Ambazonia today, it will take more than 20 years for anyone to think of investing in that place. With the system that you guys have currently going on. We got to wake up from this slumber, keep our ego on the side, and be able to face the truth. You will learn a foreign language, but you will not learn French. You will learn a foreign language to get a job in that country where you find yourself, to get a job or to marry a woman there, or to get papers over there. You will do that. You will tell all these kind of stories to look timid and fearful, and you've lost your confidence in that nation. You will say all of these things about your country, and everywhere you go, they keep asking you, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? Why are you here? Why are you here? Why do you love this country? What made you come here? You will keep repeating yourself, answering these questions for your entire life. And if you don't understand what it means to have love for your nation, the places where you find yourself abroad, those people have love for their nations. They will not act the way we are doing. They will not be disrespectful the way we are doing to our nation. Saying something nasty or dirty about our nation should be something that we should really take into consideration. Because when you say it, it feels good, but there's a record. I was looking at the record, the files of our asylum cases, the stories that we tell about our nation is insane. It will haunt us. You can get a little bit of bread right now, but you will pay for it. This is time for us to start addressing the real issues, the poverty issue that we are dealing with, and face it for what it is. Keep our ego down and actually solve this problem. Most people have been rejected asylum, and most people will not be accepted asylum based on this Ambazonia idea. We should better understand that right now. Let's keep watching, guys.
Called me and forced me to sign. Put my hand behind my back. Some officer. They forced me to put my fingerprint.
We've been treated like we are not humans. I don't know if it is because of our skin color or because of where we come from. During our stay here in vicinity, we've not been given the opportunity to get parole.
It is really a heart-friendly and a frustrating situation on our part, knowing that the United States is not able and willing to protect us, sending us back to the terrible government who is ready to take our life.
Advocacy organizations and families of Cameroonian asylum seekers have been protesting and holding vigils, calling for a halt to deportations to Cameroon.
I want to tell the American government that sending me back to Cameroon, that is harm, has seriously impacted my life, and that I still need their protection and assistance because my life is seriously still in danger.
The U.S. government should immediately grant humanitarian parole to all Cameroonian asylum seekers deported in 2020 and 2021 so that they can return to the United States for fair asylum hearings. Cameroonian authorities and armed separatists should cease all abuses against returnees and their families.
So that is our story, guys.
The road Clinton.
That is our story. This is us. This is what we are doing to ourselves. To integrate and have our nation be one, we'll rather find ourselves in these circumstances, destroying the reputation of our nation. Very soon when they come down to say, we want to come institute gay and lesbianism, we say that is not our culture. But these are stories that we told because we wanted to get asylum. These are stories we told. When they say Cameroon is ranked one of the most violent places to go to in Africa, no one should go invest in that country. And that is what the people in the West will share among themselves. Do not go invest in that country. It's unsafe. Because even if something happens in Bamenda or in Southwest, they don't just say that is happening in some part of Cameroon. They say Cameroon in general is an unsafe place to invest in. And these are opportunities that we are losing that would have brought us more wealth and prosperity than your little asylum that you get and the money that you make, sending some back home to build a house that you never go back to, trying to help some siblings. At the end of the day, you just feel like your whole time and life was wasted. This is the life we live. Some of you have had enemies with your relatives because they don't seem to believe you that you don't have money abroad. And this is what the travel abroad program has done for you. You cannot talk normally with your relatives anymore because it's just about the money. This is our lives. When I came here to the United States of America, I met Cameroonians that were in their 60s and 70s These were the first group of people, and they regretted coming to America. And they say, look at our lives. It feels like everything is gone. And we've spent our time going to baby showers. We've spent our time trying to play soccer games to please each other. We spend our time going to weddings and wake keepings. And this is how we spent our lives in the United States, going to the nightclub. And we feel like we are not fulfilled. I met a pastor and he told me if I was in Cameroon, I felt like my life would have been better. He was in his late 70s. The second group of people I met here were the group of people that have been here for 10 years plus, and they were repeating the same cycle. And the third group were newbies like me who just came and were about to start in the same tracks. Get a nursing job, drive Uber, truck driving. That is our destiny. You see why most of the people in the diaspora will love to join this movement, because they find a sense of meaning and purpose in their life. And our generation is a generation of people that is driven by vision. We want to make something out of our lives. And I want to let you guys know the Cameroon dream, the Cameroon Sustainable Development Project is the safe space where you can be something in that nation. And we can come together and have this dream become a reality. I would like to continue watching the video, but I want to actually put up an illustration to show you guys something, guys. It's quite interesting that when we are advocating for cessation, we should understand what that really means. Because everyone that has gotten married and divorced with the wife, you know that life is never easy, right? After that, it doesn't just take 1 or 2 months and that divorce is over. It's going to take time. And not only that, if you have children, it is also going to take a longer time, like 18 years before you say, oh, I'm done with this woman. You always have that woman and you always have your children in your life. And that is why it is very important to think twice before you get into a relationship. Today, I want to explain that word joined, because I heard a brother. Sorry. Okay, so it is very important that I make this illustration so that you guys understand what is going on here, so that you can have perspective on this whole initiative. You see what I'm saying? Because people don't understand the meaning of that word join. When you say join, it's like we had the English speaking Cameroonians and we had the French speaking Cameroonians, and then we joined. You got to understand what join is. Because this is the thing, guys. When we were about to get married, we also studied a lot and read a lot and saw how many other couples got married, and all of that. It was inspiring for us. So it's important that you get it. That's why maybe if some of you are divorced right now, you see how hard it is in the courts with the divorce case. You see how hard it is to just separate. No, the woman is always in your life, or the children are always in your life. It's hard to just say, oh, I got in and I got out. And then we are talking about a nation that was once together, separated, and then came back together. And then we are trying to pull it apart. And then we have all these names, Ambazonia, and we are trying to push forward, even after all the nations in the world have said no to this idea. We want to continue. I want to play a video. Let's watch that video before I proceed with what I'm saying, because it's very, very important that we have perspective on this. Okay? So let's listen to this.
Economics in terms of.
And then pass your hands.
For his freedom, he had to denounce the Southern Cameroon National Movement.
They forced us to sign a document that we will never be part of the Southern Cameroon's National Council movement again, or will never take part in anything that is against the government.
After a rigorous security check, we were finally able to get Nwangu into VOA headquarters here in Washington. I asked him why he was emotional.
These emotions is coming just from everywhere. My past situation and the present situation of my people who are actually on the ground. As we are talking right now, there is a life that has just been taken away as we are talking. This is fact.
The crisis in southern Cameroon continues with killings of civilians as well as security officers. Thousands of civilians continue to run for their safety as their houses are burned to the ground. I asked Nwangu what he thought was the real reason behind the crackdown.
To be honest, what I think they have as interest in their fight is just economics. Economics in terms of they have an eye on the raw materials, they have an eye on the cash crops, they have an eye on the potentials of the people, they have an eye on our intelligence.
You call it the nation of Ambazonia, but as far as the United Nations is concerned, Cameroon is one country.
The United Nations, they have a written document on that table. They know it clearly that the Southern Cameroon is a nation. But what brings tears down my face is why they don't want to talk.
But according to what we read in the history of how Cameroon came about, is the Southerners decided no, they did not want to join the Federal Republic of Nigeria, so
Yes.
they chose to join Cameroon, knowing they speak English and the other part speaks French. What changed?
They joined that La République du Cameroon not to be part of La République du Cameroon. As a federal nation, you manage your affairs, I manage my affairs. And then when we get strong in terms of our military power, economic, logistics, in everything, we are going to be able to stand on our own.
Are you guys understanding? That is really the kind of stories that we tell ourselves, and it feels good that we join to say the French are going to administer their own part of the nation. We administer our own part of the nation. When we are strong, we'll be able to go away. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that. So you were trying to use the French people, or what were you guys trying to do? Because the British, from what I understand, said you guys were not competent enough. You didn't have the resources. You didn't have the capabilities to lead yourselves. So what you are telling me is we wanted to use them so that we can be strong, and then we walk away. You get what I'm saying? It's like that kind of a marriage that the woman comes in and say, okay, I know this man has money and I don't have money. I'm just coming in to make sure that I get my way. If he brings me abroad and then I make my way, I'll just say bye to that relationship and walk away. You get what I'm saying? It's that kind of a story that we are actually believing. When you listen to what we really say today, guys, it's interesting. And that's why you got to step out of the box. If not, you'll be hearing the same thing and you feel like it makes sense. And it's the same thing like the West. You think like, oh, we're going to America, we're traveling to Europe. No, we are not there to really help that nation be better. We are here just to farm. We're here just to make money, right? Immediately we make money in those nations, boom, we're gone. And we never really put our heart here to help these people with whatever struggle they were dealing with. It was all about the money. And they know that. And so they'll keep you in those menial jobs so that you can just get enough to pay your bills. And then at the end of the day, you realize your life on earth was a waste. Are you guys understand what I'm saying? Hello. Yes. Yes.
The show live, and I just listened to the guy who was talking about the reason why we joined French Cameroon. I just want to say that is bogus. Like, if you join somebody, it's not just for your own benefit. You know, what are you also going to offer? So I just want to say that is crazy. And you're doing a great job. Thank you so much for your show. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. So that's it, guys. How do you want to join someone just to benefit and then you walk away at some point? That kind of a thinking is absurd and it feels good. This is what we've been conditioned to think for 50 years. And coming and presenting this case to the international community, they look at it and like, you guys just want to use people. And at the end of the day, you want to walk away just like that. They're like, no, go down there and fix that problem. We're not going to be part of this. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when we were getting into a relationship, they had to help us understand. And if you've watched this before, you understand this illustration. This is how joining, because that word join, we don't understand what it means. It's like a nail and a wood, and you're trying to join this wood to another wood, and you use a nail to screw it so that it joins. Once you bore a hole and you have that nail go in, it joins. The beauty of that foundation is predicated on the fact that it is joined to another wood with a nail in between. join. When the two become one in marriage, it is join. You guys are one. And that is why I was making an illustration. I was just sharing this story with some friends, and I was like, everything that I have, my wife knows about it. We have no secret bank account. Everything that I have, she knows it. She has access to it. And they're like, that is crazy. You should have some money on the side on some account that your wife. Then why did we come together if I have to live a separate life? You see what I'm saying? Oh, I don't cheat on my wife. No, you've said I've never cheated on my wife. It's a story. Like, people don't even believe that. And I'm like, why did you guys come together? You understand what I'm saying? When we lack character and we lack morals, we will see what we are really saying as a reality. You understand what I'm saying? When we lack character and we lack morals, this story that we propagate around the world will make sense in our eyes. But if you have morals and you have character, of which you can be trained, you can develop it, you will not even make sense of this story. Do you understand what I'm saying? That we wanted to be there with them so that when we get better, we just walk away. And that story sounds good. This is what it looks like, guys. When we were about to get married, this is an illustration that we saw in one of the counseling sessions that we went to. The pastor took water and poured that water into a glass. And then he took juice and he poured that juice inside that same glass. And then he told us to separate the water we pour into this glass from the juice. And it was impossible to do that because I've mixed both. How do you extract the water I put in this glass? How can you extract the juice that I put in this glass? That is what join means. That the water and the juice that you put in here is inseparable. You cannot join and live together for more than 60 years or 50 years, and then you want to come up today and bring a story of the past to separate the nation. And that is why no one on earth wants to be part of this, because we are trying to do this. The water and the juice in this glass cannot be divided. It is now one. And we have to learn how to deal with this glass that we now have before us. This is the magic we are trying to perform. Do you understand what I'm saying? I thought I'd use this illustration to help you understand what coming together, joining means. And from what our leaders have demonstrated, a federalism would have been the worst idea for us, because we are incompetent to lead ourselves. All our leaders have fought one another. The kind of fighting that we've seen so far with our leaders in the diaspora is more intense than the fighting that we have in Cameroon. The insults, some of them have gone to an extent to say they wish one another dead. And some of them have said, if I had a gun and that gun had just one bullet and I have to choose between taking Paul Biya down or taking Sako down, I would put Sako down. These are words that have come out of our leaders' mouth. Do you see how dangerous it is for us to even say federalism? So what I'm saying is all this idea of dialogue, that is why it has to go out of the window. You go back home and start doing the right thing. We need a character transformation and start doing the right thing for our nation. You can seek asylum for all you care. Because of this case, because the way the case is, I've read the profile of these things. It is quite interesting because many people are hoping, because some of these leaders will use this asylum story and hold you bound to be part of their group, because they think that somehow they will hold you down or have you pay taxes or have the Ambazonian ID card because you are looking for asylum. Don't be trapped in this. If we do the things that I'm saying here, We will lay the foundation that we will go back home and have a better life in Cameroon than we are having in the diaspora. Are you guys understand what I'm saying? Are you guys understand what I'm saying? Yes. So let's keep listening.
I'll be here with my kids. That's a home away from home. My dream is actually to live as if I'm home.
Since the 1990s, a civil war has been present in Cameroon between those who speak English in the southwest of the country and the French majority. Additionally, corruption, electoral fraud, and problems with Nigeria and Boko Haram have put the country in an almost permanent war. Thus, residents have fled the country and gone to Europe. Frank is one of them. He left in 2005 when he was no longer free to work as a journalist.
Cosa succede in Cameroon?
What is in Cameroon? Well, if you go, there are problems. You can go as you please, but if you ask questions as a journalist or political activist, you can find problems. So those who work as journalists for Europonane or other papers have a lot of trouble. They are arrested or thrown in prison.
Thus, he escaped from his home country by plane, not even knowing where he was going. He said he came to Italy by chance after a rough trip.
The traffickers gave us a fake passport, but I don't know what it was used for because they made us enter the cargo hold where they put the bags. It was
they do not want to return to their politically divided country.
Because these are all stories that we tell abroad, right? But if you start doing the research and realizing what this is doing to our economy and what this is doing to us as a people, and the future that awaits us, we are going to experience a tough life going forward, worse than what we would have built in Cameroon. Life is going to be hard for us very soon in the diaspora. And there will be no hope for our nation because we've gone out there and shared all these false stories about our nation. I was reading a very interesting book about 2 years ago, and I was just thinking about the book today. The 4-Hour Work Week. I think it's by Tim Ferriss. The 4-Hour Work Week. As an entrepreneur, as a leader, you have to read, right? You have to read a lot, extensively. And so I've read extensively across multiple genres, from business and politics and religion, in human psychology, persuasion, all of this, war, everything that I can lay my hand on, right? This book actually depicts the environment that we live in today, how people are trying to make the best use of their time, why they can have fun with their families and friends at the same time. You don't have to be caught up with work all the time, that you have no time for yourself, which is the story that some of us are experiencing here in the West. You have like 2-3 jobs. You sell your time for money. You see what I'm saying? That is the loop that you're caught up in. In this book, The 4-Hour Work Week, because a friend told me that if you want to hide something from a Cameroonian or from a black person, put it in the middle of a book, they'll never get to see it. We have to cultivate the culture of reading, because that's the only way we'll free ourselves from mental slavery. All of this kind of conditioning, we only get rid of this by putting new information, and then the old one fades away because the new one is more stronger than the old one, if that makes sense. In this book, the author outlines a number of countries that if you want to hire workers from to take maybe some of the workload while you focus on having fun and doing other things. And he mentioned multiple nations to even invest in. One of the nations he said do not invest in was Nigeria. And then he went on to say Africa. You see what I'm saying? Don't invest in Africa. And I was like, but why? And I started researching why someone would not want to invest in Africa or hire someone from Africa from abroad. And it has a lot to do with the stories that we go around sharing about our nation. We are depriving others of opportunities. We cannot reconcile our differences, and if a problem is tough, we cannot find a way to fix it ourselves. We have to blow this trumpet, travel around the world, and tell all these stories, which some of them are lies about our nation. And we are depriving the people in that nation from opportunities, and future investors that had hoped to go invest in Cameroon, they won't want to go to Cameroon. I encourage you to go read that book, The 4-Hour Work Week, and you will hear for yourself. You will see it for yourself. The nations that these people, whatever you are saying, some of them read your archives and your stories, and they document them in their books, and they share within their communities and say, that nation, do not go there. Do you know how much prosperity 5 good investors can bring to your nation? And the transformation that will bring to your people. We ruin all of this with this little crumbs, right? Is selling your birthright with a bowl of stew, right? Is the Esau and Jacob story, right? And the guy was so hungry that he's like, okay, if you just give me this bowl of stew and I'll give you my birthright. Whatever you are taking right now, you are robbing yourself of your future and your destiny and the destinies of your children. You guys will pay for this dearly. We will all pay for this. It might feel good. You might have a little house right now, drive in a good automobile, put some food in your stomach, build some home back home, or build a house. But we are going to pay for this. It is time for us to start correcting these mistakes now that we are alive and strong. And that is why I strongly encourage Cameroonians below the age of 40 that still think that they can make something out of their lives to join this movement, so that we can start cooperating with our government, with our countries in the next 5 years. People can start thinking of moving away from all of this pending asylums and move back home and build something for yourself, because Cameroon will be a land of opportunities very soon. We will do it. The West that you go to and desire so much, the people there paid the price. You cannot just shortcut and just get there and benefit from everything, and then that becomes it for you. No, you will pay for it. The people here work hard to build this nation. They went through thick and thin. You can't just come in 6 months, you get a little degree or certificate, and you go get a job, and you think that you will be part of this. That's why you go everywhere. They got to keep asking you, why did you come here? When are you going back? Why did you choose America? All these questions you will have to answer for the rest of your life. Oh, your accent sounds good. Oh, where are you from? And they will use that little phrase to probe you into asking you where you're from. Like, your accent is good. Oh, you go back and say, oh, they said my accent was good. No, it's just strange. Like, who are you? Why are you here? How many of you were asked in Cameroon all the time, where are you from? Why are you here? And you felt bad about yourself like you do in the West? I don't blame them. They are amazing people. It's their land. They see strangers, they should ask. And some of us will live here and hate them. But I love them. They have the right to ask, why are you here? Why did you leave your country? And you have to tell them all the stories. If they have told you through the Ambazonian struggle that is an easy way to get asylum, you've seen it. Many people have been rejected asylum. Many people. Right here it says approximately 8,115 people from Cameroon filed in 2022. You see that? 8,115 people filed an asylum in 2022. Out of that number, only about 0.29% of these people were granted asylum. Right? And that is approximately 157 people were granted asylum. And not only that, these people were at least had an opportunity to be heard. And only 84 of these applicants were rejected out of 157. Are you seeing? These are the number of Cameroonians. And if you look at it, most of these Cameroonians, they go to nations like Cyprus. Some of them go to France, and some of them go to the United States. And very few end up being granted asylum. Some will be there for 15, 20 years without their asylum being granted. This is a trap. And your talents and your skills and your abilities will be wasted. Your life will be a waste. And couple of that, you become a statistic. And that record will be used to profile your nation. That is what we are dealing with. If this means anything to you, if you care about making a life for yourself in this world, your self-esteem and your confidence as a human being should be your priority over the little money that you get and put food on the table. Because with your self-confidence, you can get anything in the world. Elon Musk, I was just watching a little clip someone sent to me today of Elon Musk. You know why this guy is able to make electric cars? Because of confidence. This idea was around for a very long time. The people didn't believe that they could do it. Even here in America, he had to come mobilize a team of people and said it is possible to do that. And today, he has actually escalated the entire process of space travel. And people are believing that this can become a possibility. Why? Because Elon Musk is confident in himself. He knows who he is. And that is why I'm saying what I'm saying here, because I know who I am. I know who you are. I know what we can achieve in Cameroon if we have faith in that nation and believe in that nation. Keep our egos aside. If we got to learn some of the French, we got to learn some of the French. We got to make something work for us in this world here. We cannot be in this world and just wallow in foreign nations and nothing comes out of our life. We got to do something. We got to do something, guys. We cannot just come into this world, watch other nations build their own countries, and we just sneak in and hang around there, get some jobs, and we pass time, make some money to prove to people, and at the end of the day, that becomes our lives. We got to make a difference in this world. I'm tired of us exporting the best of us out there, and it end up being a waste because the people are not actually being productive in the areas that they could be good at because they have to make a living in those foreign nations. I'm tired of seeing us waste like this. I'm tired of seeing us suffering like this. Most of the Israelites end up in Egypt. They were there. They were molding block. Let me put it in our layman language. They were molding block for their entire time there. And there were great leaders among them. There were smart individuals, engineers in them. And I look at Cameroonians in the diaspora today, and I just want to say there are smart people in your midst, engineers, talented individuals. We got to face our reality, cooperate with our president, influence change in our nation, build a legacy. No matter I don't care what you have in the diaspora. You could have the nationality in the nation where you find yourself. Good luck for that. Good luck with that. But at the end of the day, you got to face this bitter reality that you'll never ever feel like one of those people in that nation. That is why you always want to go back home. That is why you want to build something back home. You want to visit back home all the time because you don't feel like you're part of that nation where you find yourself. You're there just for the job. You're there to wind time. That is our reality. Guys, we need to have sympathy on our own selves. You understand what I'm saying? We need to have sympathy on ourselves. Where are we going with this? What does 200 years in the future look like for us? What does the next 15, 20, 30 years look like for us? Why do we have this kind of ego? Why do we hate ourselves this much? That black people cannot stay in their own country and cooperate and build their own nation? They have to be fugitives, refugees, beggars in foreign nations, having houses and money that you cannot even feel like you're respected for that. Why do we have to end up this way? Does it bother you? What do we want? What do we really want? How can you learn German language and you can't learn French? Because it's another black man? Because another black man learning French makes you feel inferior? You call it black on black colonization? But when you give your time and your life away in a foreign nation, you don't think that there's something wrong with that? You don't think something is wrong with that? When you're waiting for your papers to show up and you have to wait for the rest of your life and some of you never get it till you pass away, do you think there's something wrong with that? To show respect to another fellow brother, you feel like it's a problem. But when you're greeting a white person, you want to go on the ground, you want to feel like you're nothing because of that, but you cannot show that same respect to your fellow brothers. When you come around them, you grow wings, and when you're in front of another person because of their color, you're all timid. You don't believe that someone among you can be great. You cannot respect them because you believe that, oh, they have the same color like you, they came from where you came from, and so nothing good can come from you. So the disrespect is coming because you look at them, they look like you, and so there is nothing good that can come out of you. How do you guys expect to be great? Americans will respect the best among themselves. Even if you come from the same womb with me, you got to be able to see what God has put in me and respect that. That is how your blessing comes. Because through that person's greatness, you too will become. For 7 years now, I've watched you guys do all that you can, and nothing has happened. And today I'll rise up to help us. And then the first thing you think about is they've sold, you've bought you, they've sold you, you've paid, take some money. I mean, like, what do we want? What do we really want? Oh, Pobia has paid you. How much did he pay you? Oh, we want to stay back in 1960. And yet you are struggling in the diaspora. Working a menial job that you feel terrible about yourself every day when you come back home. And I'm trying to help you have perspective because the knowledge, the information you have in your head has not provided for you the life that you want. Has not helped you to solve your problem with the government. And I try to challenge this thinking because someone must challenge your thinking and have you move from that position so that you can have perspective and then get new information and have new results. You think there is a problem with that? What do we want? Your leaders they have proven that they cannot lead themselves. You think it's the resources? If we had federalism, you guys will govern yourselves well? You still think so? You still think that if you were granted federalism, you will lead yourself when the best among us that have traveled, lived in foreign nations and seen what is happening around those nations, and yet they cannot come together as one. You think that federalism can grant you a status where you administer your own part of the nation well? Can you blame Paul Biya for the reason why you guys are disunited in the diaspora? Can you blame him for that? For some reason, guys, you guys need to take a break from this social media that you come on to have your voices heard and sit down and fix yourselves and have a genuine conversations. Look at each other in the eye and really have a conversation. That we are the problem, guys. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? It has to take someone that grew up in your community like me, that knows everything, to look at you in the eyes and say, bro, we are the problem. Bobia's government has not been that disunited like us. They have not been that divided like us. We've had a simple opportunity to just build a community of people that could believe on a single vision, and we have not been able to accomplish that. And we think that if we have federation, we will administer our own part of the nation. and someday we will get strong and then we will walk away. That is how we understood that coming together. Guys, we got to be real with ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? I believe in us. In spite of our differences and our struggles and the confusion, I still believe in us. I believe that we got to be able to see the light and walk together as one and not be jealous of one another. Accept that God has to use someone, and there must be a leader. There must be somebody that we respect. If we do not have this among us and everybody is equal, because I've heard that in America. Some people say everybody's equal here because all we came here for is money. So we are on the same plane because we want the same thing. No, not everybody came here for money. Some people came here for purpose. Some people came here because they want to see what is happening here and go back and change the lives of others back home. Some people came here because they want to contribute to this nation. They want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And you will just silence them because of your idea and your voice is loud about you coming here just for money. No, everybody didn't come here for money. And I think I just set that record straight. Because young men, I'd say this to you guys. And I say this all the time. If you cannot get to a place in life where money doesn't control you, are you understand what I'm saying? Money doesn't control you. Women doesn't control you. Are you understand what I'm saying? Food and drinks do not control you. You'll always be a weak man. You have to get to the place in life where women, money, food, drinks doesn't have a hold on you. And that is what I've been able to overcome in my own life. You cannot buy me. You can't. You can't buy me with women. You cannot buy me with food. You cannot buy me with drinks. You cannot buy me with money. And when you get to that place, more will come. Every other thing that you'll be looking for will come, and you will not even be bothered about it. The Bible says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things. We hear that it's just some fairy tale, right? Like it's good to just hear it. But it actually means what it says. If you seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, all these things shall be added unto you. If you build your character first, you know who you are. You believe in who you are. You're confident in who you are, young people. Every other thing shall be added unto you. The money will come. The house will come. The women will come. Every other thing will be added unto you. And when you have the kingdom, these things will not control you. We have made money our master and we are the slaves. Money is supposed to be your servant. Money is supposed to be your slave. You be the master. When you're running after money with this kind of mindset, money, that's why you see our entertainment industry, everything. People is like, oh, did you cash the bag? Did you get the money? It's all about the money. We got to get to the place where we understand that money was designed to save us, to serve us. Serve, not save. Money was designed to serve us and not us serving money. Money was designed for us to be the master and the money be the slave. And not the money being the master and we be the slave. If this mindset doesn't change, you will struggle in your life. And whatever you think you ever achieve is just a fraction of what you would have achieved. Do you understand what I'm saying? You got to get to the place where money is your slave. That people cannot buy you with money. You're not producing a program. You're not producing a movie. You're not producing something just based on money. And this is the thing. That's why we come to the diaspora. All of this women empowerment ideas. We know how our community looks like. We know that men and women are not the same. We know that we want to build a kind of Africa where we understand that respect exists. A man is leading his family. Guess what? Because money will come from you following all of this women empowerment idea, you will go with it and say, yeah, paint stories like, oh, women are being marginalized in Africa. I didn't grow up seeing women being marginalized the way I hear the stories that people are buying into. And so because it will give you some money to go back home and do some NGO project, you will go along with that. You don't have character. And when you go back, you empower just the women. What happens? The men do nothing. What do you need in Africa? You need roads. You need to build houses. If the men are not empowered, who do you think is going to build this stuff? Who have a dwindling society. And you just want to go around with the flow, right? It sounds good to hear it. And our women know that we don't treat them bad. Now, everyone in Africa now is just rising up, trying to see if a man just say anything, you just trying to just picture it from that lens of marginalization, masculinity, and toxic masculinity. And I just want to let you guys know, is this really what we have been going through in our community? We will pay for it. You feel good right now, you make a little bit of money, have a good time, we will pay for it. These people have worked hard to build their nations. You will not sneak in and just get anything that you want and think life is going to be all bed of roses. We will pay for it dearly. And I just came here to remind us, as God is letting me know, because we can do a lot. Entertainers, be more mindful of producing to impact your people. Money will come. There will be a place for that. It should not be your primary objective. Money will come. When your head is about the money, all of a sudden you're producing, people cannot even feel it because they can smell the hunger for money in everything that you do. People smell it. That's why you don't have a lot of money. Do you know why many people are poor? The reason why many people are broke is because they go around and their whole mind is on the money. When you shift from that paradigm, things will start happening different for you. And people will think about the money, they think everybody else is like that. That is the mindset. Anyone that their head is just clouded just with money, they go around the world and see everybody that way. People only see the world the way they are. You cannot see people different from what you are not. The way you see the world, because if I go out and I believe that it's about service, it's about serving, it's about impacting the world, I see everybody like that. You see everybody as a tool, something to make money with and all of that because of how you've been programmed. And if we will build Cameroon, we got to change this. We got to change this. These are the new group of people that I want to introduce to Cameroon. People that believe what I'm sharing here. People that are saying that I'm tired of this. I want to face the bitter truth. Filing asylum with the Ambazonia idea will not save us. Because the idea has been rejected everywhere, and so there's very limited chances for you to be granted an asylum with that status. And it can cause you to sell all your properties, travel abroad, and you end up in the same loop, and you regret ever leaving your nation even. Again, there are 7 industries that are transforming the global economy. 7. Tech, finance, real estate, food and beverage, the entertainment industry, renewable energy. These 7 industries, if we are able to produce 3,000 competent experts that can operate at the global level in these industries, they will create jobs that will transform our economy. We can start focusing on a sector like agriculture to eradicate hunger in our community. All this money that we've put together to buy guns and go fight, if that money was put together and we bought tractors and machines to cultivate just soybeans and corn, we can produce a lot coming out of these 2 cash crops. We would have been having a return on our investment. If we put all this money together and had a bank in Cameroon that will invest this money in for these developmental projects, buy these machines, establish call centers in Cameroon, and train people. The Philippines are doing it. In the middle of the night here in America, I pick up the phone and call my bank. Someone in the Philippines picks up the phone and is responding to me. They've made their country a safe space for that to happen. When we do this, do you think people want to transfer their data and jobs to your nation? No. It's a terrorist zone. And you will keep emphasizing my right, what I know. I want to let you guys know it's better to be kind than to be right. It is better to be kind than to be right. People who go around in this nation preaching my right, you know the future. Look well. All those people with flags always marching for something, you know what their destiny looks like. Why should we, the selected few that are intelligent, smart, travel abroad, still think this way? Fall in this loop. Guys, we can create a safe space in our nation. Create call centers. Power them up with generator that even if light goes off, there is a generator to continue the process. And we have jobs from home in the diaspora based on trust and love. If we go back and fix our problem right now with our president and show to the world that we are reasonable people that could set aside our differences and start doing the right thing, we will make enormous progress that will lead to transformation and economic prosperity. And we'll have people from even the diaspora that will bring back home to train our people. Some people from back home will travel abroad and study and come back home and be able to initiate that change. Some of us who are already in the diaspora will go back home and start that project. As I'm talking to you guys right now, in the next 20 years, Cameroon can become the first world nation in Africa, in the world. If we take action right now, don't underestimate our number. Don't underestimate, because you look at, oh, Nigeria has not yet done it. No, forget about other nations. Forget about, oh, South Africa has not. No, we can be that if we have faith and set our minds on this objective. And just like Elon Musk, people like, oh, electric cars are impossible. He came here and he did it a couple of years ago and proved to the whole world it is possible for us to have electric cars. We can be the catalyst for that transformation in Cameroon. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you believe in yourself? Because if you doubt me, it means you doubt yourself. You get what I'm saying? If you doubt what I just said, you doubt, you have no faith in yourself. You have no confidence in yourself. Because I believe without an iota of doubt that this is possible and we can achieve this. We can lay a remarkable foundation in the next 5 years, and in the next 20 years, we will have all of these things in Cameroon. Black people of Cameroon, our race has been through a lot. Let's for once think different, be different, and be the change that the whole world gets to see. I hope you got some value out of this video. I hope you were blessed by this message. I love you guys so much. I'm praying for you. Praying for you. There is nothing that God can't do. As we move on this journey of recalibrating our thinking. An American author said, the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write. That the illiterates of the 21st century will be the group of people that cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. That is, you get to a place where you unlearn everything that you've ever known, and then you relearn, you learn new things and have transformation. It will not be about those who can read and write, because some people think that illiterates are those who cannot read and write. No, he said the illiterates of the 21st century will be the group of people. Not that they can't read and write, but they cannot unlearn and relearn. I love you guys so much. And until next time. Let's keep believing. Share this video with a friend. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell so that every time a new video pops up, you'll be the first to be notified. And let's grow this platform, this new wind of change, this new breath of information that is like fresh air, challenging us to think differently, facing the bitter truth of our reality and our existence as a people. That everyone across the nation, both home and abroad, hear these messages that I'm producing in this channel. And let's trust God and not ourselves, and accept our limitations and improve on our weaknesses. That is the only way we make it. That is the only way we succeed. Understanding our strengths, understanding our weaknesses, understanding our opportunities. It's important that we do so. I love you guys so much, and until next time, stay blessed. All right, if you like this video, you're gonna like this other episode, and you can watch it by clicking right